From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Hannah Mordo, and this is your News 8 Daily for Wednesday, January 7th. Rally towel ready. Why IU fans lined up for more than half a mile ahead of the Peach Bowl on Friday. And we sit down with the governor to talk one-on-one. First, though, just an absolutely massive wreck causing an explosion in Hamilton County. This is in Fishers on I-69, closing the interstate in both directions. Here's Marcus Bailey with what we know so far this morning.
Crash, and then on top of that, getting the fire out. I mean, we're going to assume that this is going to carry over into the morning.
Sure,
right?
yeah.
North and southbound lanes, obviously, is what we're going to be dealing with here. So that is the view at Cynthian Road, okay? And they've got the lights on there. I think we're kind of getting into the cleanup stages. If you want to, guys, you want to go ahead and flip over to graphics 11. I'll show the map here. Tara is going to be working on this for the top of the hour to kind of get you around this situation, because obviously this is going to be extended closure. And I should mention that we do have a crew on the way to for full coverage on this breaking story. So we want to flip over to graphics 11 here, and we'll walk you through this. There you go. This is the closure here. State Road 13 to the north. You cannot go south of State Road 13. That's where they will force you off. That's the Lapel, Fortville, Ingalls exit, okay, in Madison County. And then you cannot progress north of Campus Parkway. That's the Hamilton Town Center exit and interchange there. So some ways to kind of get around that. 126. Obviously, if you go to the south, you'll kind of have to meander your way around a little bit. You can scoot north, take 13, and then you can mosey on to, 38? 38, and you can kind of get yourself to maybe 156. Get your way south around, down back toward Campus Parkway to sneak back on there if you can. I know not the easiest workaround, but it's really going to be your only option here for this morning. As we mentioned, it is going to be an extended closure.
Okay, let's get to the weather now. Partly cloudy outside, going to be a little bit cooler today. We got up to the mid-50s yesterday. The high is going to be around 50 degrees. Unseasonably mild, though, this week. Rain and storms return tomorrow and the next day. Breaking overnight, police say a woman is in critical condition after a shooting in the Martindale-Brightwood neighborhood. It happened just after 11:30 last night on East 34th Street near Keystone. IMPD says the woman was inside her home when someone fired shots from the street into the house, hitting her multiple times. Police do not know what led to the shooting and do not have any information about a suspect. If you know anything, you're asked to call police or Crime Stoppers. Indiana Congressman Jim Baird is out of the hospital and on the mend after he and his wife were in a car crash yesterday. His son, Bo, made the announcement saying Dad was in the hospital for less than 24 hours and has already been discharged. Thankfully, he walked away with nothing more than some road rash and bruising. We are incredibly grateful. He went on to say that Baird's wife remains in the ICU and doctors are monitoring her closely. Happening today, it's committee day at the State House. That means there will be no action either in the House or on the Senate floor. The committee hearings on the docket include a House bill which would prohibit public schools from participating in federally funded meal programs, from serving ultra-processed food or drinks. Senate committee will also hear a bill that would require schools to enable parents to control their students' school-issued devices. A House committee has approved a bill that would allow the Hoosier Lottery to sell tickets online. House Public Policy Committee voted 9-3 yesterday to send the bill to the full House. If approved, the Hoosier Lottery could sell tickets online or through an app for instant games and jackpot drawings like the Powerball and Mega Millions. 18 states already do this, already allow online lottery sales, including our neighbors in Illinois, Kentucky, and Michigan. There is no word yet on when a state Senate committee will take a vote on a bill that would allow the state to use a firing squad to execute death row inmates. The state currently puts prisoners to death by lethal injection, but the bill's author says that doses of the drugs used in lethal injection are getting harder to find and are expensive. Critics question the bill's humaneness.
We think this bill is a solution in search of a problem. Whether you believe the death penalty is morally wrong or a just punishment that saves lives, Senate Bill 11 is not going to meaningfully change how capital punishment operates in Indiana.
This bill doesn't say it has to be a firing squad. It says that if they can't do it by chemical methods, that this is another alternative left up to them.
Right now, 5 other states allow execution by firing squad. News 8 government reporter talked to Governor Braun. He got a sit-down one-on-one. Here's what he had to say yesterday.
Governor Mike Braun tells me the state police changed the way they intercept drug shipments. That led to record seizures. State police say they intercepted more than 1,500 pounds of cocaine last year. That includes a single bust of 1,100 pounds in a U-Haul truck. They also seized 160 pounds of opioids and 191,000 fentanyl pills. They say as far as they know, those are records.
They have just stepped up kind of how they look at things when it's on the commercial side. You see the semis get pulled over. That's generally for a safety check, maybe a taillight being out. Well, they're going to the next step just to make sure nothing else is amiss.
The state health department has not yet finalized its drug overdose numbers for 2025. Preliminary numbers show 562 deaths in the first 6 months of the year. That compares to 869 in the first half of 2024. The state's overdose dashboard does not yet have numbers for the second half of the year. How much of the drop in drug overdose deaths do you believe is attributable to enforcement actions as opposed to greater access to treatment options such as naloxone?
So it's going to be hard to distinguish that, but all of that and throwing the kitchen sink at it to boot, and the fact that we're dealing with less of it coming into the country that impacts all states.
Substance abuse recovery advocates say the new numbers are welcome news. Overdose Lifeline founder Justin Phillips says saving lives takes both enforcement and treatment.
We do know that the drug supply is super dangerous, and right now, fentanyl is prevalent in everything, so removing those dangerous drugs from the community also contributes. But recovery and finding your way to recovery is such an individual journey, and access to naloxone is the only way we can keep people alive long enough to help them find their way. So everything contributes.
So on the enforcement side, that's cutting the supply. What is your administration doing to address the demand side, such as the people who are struggling with addiction?
When it comes to however kids get addicted, adults, we need to work on it because the supply will still try to get there. But that means on public health, we're going to need to put resources into it. I intend to do that, especially now when we reopen the budget in 27, and it looks like our cash flow is going to be healthy to invest in new areas.
Governor Braun tells me state police will continue to build on what works, and he says his administration will look to other states to see what works there. I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
Wish TV is your education station. As Martin University in Indianapolis closes, some students are left wondering what happens next. The school's board of trustees announced it is shutting the school down for financial reasons. So far, no members of the board have spoken to News 8. One student set to graduate this year tells us she's not sure what comes next, but a leader at another university says they are trying to help those who have been displaced.
Am I still going to get my diploma? Am I still going to get my degree? And I'm looking to try other things and go into other lines of work. And so those things affect me. And so it in turn affects my mental.
Happy to be able to look at how we can take and transfer their credits in as best that we can for programs that are similar in nature. And then for those programs that aren't as connected, to help them identify maybe new pathways that they could take to complete their degrees as well.
UIndy and Marian University have both offered to match Martin's tuition rates to help Martin students finish their degrees. Hoosier hysteria in Bloomington. IU fans lined up for nearly half a mile to get their free Peach Bowl rally towels on Tuesday. Video from the Hoosier Connect Facebook page shows a massive line outside Assembly Hall as fans waited to grab the Peach Bowl rally towels. Post says the line was half a mile long. My mother-in-law was there and in it. She confirms it took a really long time to get a towel, but she says it was worth it. Even as IU gets ready for its Peach Bowl matchup with Oregon, the Hoosiers continue to sign players out of the transfer portal, including one leaving another team that's still alive in the college football playoff. Miami tight end and Indiana native Brock Schott announced he is transferring to IU next season. Schott redshirted for the Hurricanes after appearing in just 2 games as a freshman. He has 4 seasons of eligibility remaining. IU recruited Schott out of Leo High School near Fort Wayne last year before he signed with Miami. Wish TV has given you all access to the Peach Bowl and the undefeated Hoosiers. Sports director Anthony Calhoun will have live coverage from Atlanta starting tonight on Wish TV's News at 5 all the way through Friday's matchup against Oregon. Go Hoosiers. Pacers now have lost a franchise record of 13 straight games and have the worst record in the NBA. Pacers could not hold on to their fourth quarter lead last night. Cavaliers won 120-116. Pacers head to Charlotte to face the Hornets tomorrow, where head coach Rick Carlisle will once again try to get his 1,000th career win. Happening today, national news, Nick Reiner, the son of director Rob Reiner, is set to be arraigned and enter a plea in the killing of his parents. His appearance comes more than 3 weeks after Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle, were found dead inside their L.A. home. Nick Reiner has been held without bail since he was arrested just hours after his parents' bodies were discovered. He's charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. In his first court appearance in December, Reiner did not enter a plea. Prosecutors say they have not decided whether to seek the death penalty in the case. President Trump says Venezuela will be providing up to 50 million barrels of oil to the U.S. It follows Trump's assertion over the weekend that the military operation that led to the capture of Venezuela's president was in part about taking control of the country's oil fields. Reed Binion reports.
It's been all about grabbing Venezuela's oil.
Lawmakers reacting with concern after President Donald Trump said Tuesday Venezuela will turn over 30 to 50 million barrels of oil to the U.S. The president, writing on Truth Social, the oil will be sold at market value and the money, quote, will be controlled by me as President of the United States of America to ensure it is used to benefit the people of Venezuela and the United States. Lawmakers expressing skepticism.
I don't think either the American people or Venezuelan people are ever going to get the benefit of that money regardless.
Venezuela is home to roughly a fifth of the world's proven crude oil reserves, leading all countries with 303 billion barrels.
We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars.
But experts say the prospect of oil companies running operations in Venezuela raises questions.
There are 2 sides of that equation, right? One is the Venezuelan government going to fight back? The other part of it is, will big oil in the United States take the kind of risks of doing large-scale investment that is required?
While some may wonder about the impact on gas prices, 30 to 50 million barrels of oil may sound like a lot, but to put it in context, the U.S. consumed just over 20 million barrels per day over the past month. So while it might lower oil prices a bit, it won't likely lower Americans' gas prices that much. I'm Reed Binion for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
This has been your News 8 Daily from Wish TV. I'm Hannah Mordeau. Watch us on Wish TV and WishTV.com.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, connect with Wish TV on Facebook at WishTV.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.